Hey guys, this is going to be Stu's back at the bench for May-June 2019. Now I know it's a bit early, but what with work and life, etc., I just had to fit in the time when I could, and I've got a weekend off and a little bit of free time, so I thought might as well do it now. Anyway, um, I've had a major cull on a lot of my stash, including a lot of my tigers, for obvious reasons. But I did get a few acquisitions in before I actually started the cull. And one of them, as you well know, I've done an in-box review on, was this puppy, which is HMCS Snowberry. Does look quite an intense build, and I know my modelling buddy Mike Cohen actually built this kit. I think it was about a year or two ago, and mightily impressive it was too. It is a superb looking kit, I have to say. I'm not generally a ship modeler, but I know my father had the 72nd version of this, or I'd had to pull the camera around, and he was intending to build it, but unfortunately due to his health and other issues he never got around to building it. And then obviously some years later Revell brought out a 1/144th version, which I've got here, and if you want to check out what it's like, just look back on one of my inbox reviews and you'll see for yourself. But that's going to make a lovely build and when I get around to it. Just put this under here, underneath the bench. And there was two others that actually went with it, which I'm going to be doing inbox reviews on, connected with the theme that Snowberry comes from, which is the Battle of the Atlantic. Is this one, which is a Type 7C41 Atlantic version of the most widely used U-boat during the Second World War. It is quite a long kit, actually, to be honest with you. You can get aftermarket for it for the decking and other bits and bobs on the conning tower, which I've seen, which I might well go for. Just add that little bit more detail. And as you remember, I did one in 1/350th, which was representing the one that was used in the film Das Boot, and I know there's been a reboot of that as a TV series recently, which was the U96, which I did, I think, just over a year ago. This is its bigger sister, again in 1/144th, and even for 1/144th it's still quite an impressive size, to be honest with you. And it'll be a nice little meaty build to do at some stage. And then the one after that, which is even bigger, which is the Type, I think, 21, which didn't really get to see operational service, although the Allies did actually capture one in port at the end of the war. I mean, had this thing got out into the Atlantic, God knows, well, God alone knows what could have happened. It could have reversed the course of the war, to be honest with you. But as you say, with this one, you got a full interior. I am weighing up in my mind as to whether to light it up. I don't know. I'm undecided on this one, to be honest with you, but it's bigger than the Type 7, and I'll probably do an inbox review on this at some stage. But yeah, it was a big sub, much bigger than the Type 7, to be honest with you. And the fact that it comes with a full interior is not something nice and meaty to get into as well. So there you go. And then got myself a set of figures for about £7 on eBay, which is this set here, which is the US Army infantry set, which might go well with a nice little dial at some stage. And you get a full inventory of weapons with this as well, and then there's your colour guide on the back, and you can see what they look like made up. They're not bad, and they're not actually that bad, actually. I don't think this is still being produced by Tamiya, so yeah, I was quite lucky to get hold of this, actually, but it just caught my eye. So there you go. And then, if you remember, I got myself a dinosaur. Well, I've got another one. Stegosaurus. Again, unusual subject. Be a good practice for painting and weathering. I don't know. As I saw on live at the bench one time, somebody had actually done. Can't remember if it was a Brontosaurus or something. It did look quite lifelike actually, and I thought, something a bit different. So there you go. He's an old one. I won this one again on an eBay auction for I think around about 12 quid. So I thought, well, it's something different, you know. As I say, it's a little bit of practice on painting and airbrushing, so be interesting subject to do actually. But there you go, it's a little bit different. And then my brother bought me this for my birthday last month. Damn good book actually. Well, it's a magazine. It comes out quarterly, issued by AK, I think, which is a subsidiary of MIG. Again, it's basically telling you vehicles from a different service, such as the M3 Lee, which is done by Attack'em on this particular build, and he's predicted it as a Russian vehicle, and it just shows you the various stages of modulation you can do, just to give it that depth, as it were. So yeah, it does look quite interesting. There's other subjects in this as well, and it shows you how to weather up on the tracks. Here's one of a 109 that was captured by the Russians, and how to basically overpaint the ordinary markings. And there's the finished article, which looks absolutely gorgeous. And then there's a little advertisement for a magazine you can get called Gravity 2000. So that would be interesting for all you sci-fi modelers out there. And you got one here for a 4x4, a Mitsubishi Pajero. And again, it goes through all the weathering techniques with the mud and everything. And I must admit, it does look quite impressive. This series of books is coming out soon too. It's called Diorama Project. So that should be quite interesting. So we learn a lot of techniques from that. And this is on how to weather up an ordinary sort of locomotive from a railway set. So interesting techniques again there for a diesel engine. What else? Oh, and here's a captured Panther, which was run by the Free French Army shortly after the war, and it's produced by Rifles kit of the G late version. Yeah, that's quite interesting. And this one is absolutely spectacular. This one here, which is Kim's Romeo, a Russian submarine. I love the way he's caught the waves and the weathering on the actual sub, as it were. It really is awesome. And then you got a civilian type 166 fire truck, which was the old Schwimmwagen, I think. Show you how to convert that there, which was cannibalized after the war. Oh yeah, and you've got your what do they call them? I've forgotten. It's not really my sort of cup of tea, but it's just showing weathering techniques on it anyway. So there you go. And then finally you've got a T-34 under Russian capture, as it were. So, oh, and then there's a little gallery as well of this particular diary, which was done by a female artist, which I have to say is absolutely awesome. So yeah, there you go. Very handy books to have actually. So thank you, Neil. I really appreciate that, bro. Had great use of the stash. And then finally, an old favourite. Got this one in because basically I had the howitzer version, and it was a beautiful little build. And I just wanted to get another Sherman in my stash, to be honest with you. And this is the M4A3 with a 75mm gun. I mean, I would love to get the Easy 8 and do it as a Fury version, which I was intending to do some years ago, but never got around to it. But hey ho, there you go. yeah, it's quite, I mean, this one I snapped up fairly cheaply anyway, so that will probably be for a future project, I should think. So we shall see. Okay, so that's basically it, and that will be the last a lot of stash I'll ever get in for a while now. But we'll move on to my one and only sort of project I've been working on and off, obviously with work and life, etc., which was the Ultimate Leopard 1A4, which you see there, and it has come on quite a bit since you last saw it, to be honest with you. I was going to do the camo version, which you see on here, but then I decided, nah, I'll go with an ordinary sort of early scheme, which is the one that's depicted on the front here. So I've gone for this particular vehicle, chiefly because it's got a connection with the old Leningrad Tiger that I did, because I think it comes from the same Panzer regiment, with the little elephant on the back. So I thought, yeah, I'll do that then. And as you know, once I actually tried fitting the rubber tracks on it, the front idle wheel snapped off because it was too tight, which was an absolute pain, because the other side fitted fairly well, but this side, nah, wasn't going to have it, and it just snapped off when I tried to sort of dry fit it, which was a pain. But hey ho, there you go. So I decided to order in some aftermarket tracks, which are workable track links, which I haven't actually started on yet, to be honest with you, because I needed to find out how many sets of links there were on either side. And apparently it turns out there's either 82 or 84. Now, the pack I've got, which I'll show you, where did I put it? Isn't it marvellous when you want something to do a video with, it's never at hand. Well, that's crazy. I've just had them earlier when I was showing a friend of mine them online. Oh, here we go. Yeah, it's Meng's D640A workable track links for the Leopard 1 family. That's your assembly, and that's how they're actually put together. I am a little bit concerned that I'm not going to have enough links on this, actually, that I may have to order in a second set to complete the whole lot for the vehicle. And they are going to look as though they're going to be particularly fiddly. But you know me, I'm always up for a challenge. I mean, if worst case scenario comes to worst, I might just add some order some frills or Spade Ace tracks in. I don't know, we'll see. I'll see how I get on with these first, but as you can see, you've got the 1A4 depicted on the side there in the overall olive drab scheme, which is what I've gone for. And talking of the Leopard, here she is. There you go. Basically, I got the base coats down, and as you can see, I did a little bit of post shading by basically using just two blobs of white in with the olive drab, and then just going over very surfaces very lightly, and it's really showing off the post shading on this. Mind you, I can't see in the light. Let's see if we can get it a little bit noticeable. I don't know if you guys can see it. No, it's not showing up very well at all, is it? Hang on. There we go, that's showing it a bit better. As you can see, along the side skirts, it's bringing up the detail and the variation of tone. It's just to give you that sort of semi-bleached, sun-bleached effect, really, which came up really, really well. As you can see, I've done all the detail painting on her, such as the tools. As you can see there, headlamps have been done. Well, headlights have been done. Tools on the other side, and then you've got the smoke dispensers on either side of the turret, and the machine gun up there, which I've done in the gunmetal. I did actually do a lot of research on this as regards all the colours on this, and I've got a very handy source at hand, to be honest with you, and I love the way it's come out, the variation of the tone on the actual gun itself, which has come out really, really well. And it was only today I actually managed to get the decals on. They've bedded down beautifully. There's no film they haven't that you've seen on there. They've gone down beautifully with some Microsoft marker set, and then I've just gone over with some clear coat to seal them in, really. So yeah, I'm really happy about the way this is turning out so far. I mean, for the purposes of this video, I've just basically put all the wheels on and then just added the side skirts with 2 pieces of blue tack. So if you're wondering why that's blobs there, this is just basically for that. And then on the back, you can see the back headlights here all painted in along with the reflectors. Again, I just basically went in with a double white, Tamiya white, and then went over with some clear orange and clear red to give it that sort of 3-dimensional look. And you can see the connection with the elephant there. So if you remember, my Leningrad Tiger had the elephant, so I thought, why not do the same here? So there you go. So basically that's all I've actually done as regards my builds. The V1 dial I still haven't touched, to be honest with you. I just haven't had the time, and again with this one, time has just been a premium, really, getting on the bench. So last night I just gave it a good old clear coat, as I've been sitting around for nearly a month after it had its base coat put on and detail painting done. I thought, well, I really got to get cracking on this, you know, just to try and get my mojo back into operation, which it seems, you know, thankfully it seems to have done. Now the only thing I have got to do is with the headlight, with the wing mirrors, as you can see there, they're supposed to be black. I only just recently found that out from their colour guide at Tamiya, and also with the source, which I've got here, this book here, which you've probably seen before, which is one I obtained at Telford the last time I was there, which is Dutch Leopard 1. So it's a very good source of reference material referring back to just the Dutch Leopards. Actually, if I get that out of the way, you can probably see a bit better actually. Yeah, so this one I got at Telford for about, I think it was about a tenner. They were giving them away on the Ian Allen stand, so I thought, well, I'll snap one up in case I'll get a leopard, and lo and behold, I've got one. So yeah, it's a very handy source. I mean, it even goes back to the original leopard one, which I know Tamiya do, which is another leopard I'm going to get hold of, because eventually I want to get everything associated with the leopard. Having seen them at Bovington with the 1A4, they are such an impressive and awesome looking vehicle. A very iconic vehicle from the Cold War as well. I mean, as you can see here, you've got so many sources, you've got read-ups on the history of the vehicle, loads of reference material here. It's a really handy book to have on the Leopard, even though it's just Dutch ones. It just gives you an overall sort of insight into the vehicle itself. So yeah, it is a superb little book. I don't know if you can get this book online or if it's still in print, but it's done actually by an author called Willem Smit, as it were. Not sure, and it's red, and it's actually issued by Trackpad. Oh, if I can get this bloody thing going, Trackpad Publishing. So if you get hold of one and you want a good resource material, this is the one to go for. So basically, guys, that is it for the month. Oh, and one more thing. If you notice at the base that I've got this on, I am going to be using that as a vignette. What I'm going to depict it as, I don't know, but I've got the FAQ. I'll get that out of the way again. Diorama book again. I bought this quite a while ago, and they've got a bit here on how to do basic clay bases, as it were. So I'm going to have a crack at that, possibly tomorrow, and see how it turns out. But it's a very handy book to have. It does earth terrain bunker bases and how you get the various techniques, etc. It's like the Holy Bible of dioramas. So it's one super book. It is expensive, around about £65, and it's published by AK, but having one of these in your resource library is mightily handy. I've learned a lot from this, actually, to be honest with you. Having you seen my Tiger Cursed Dio I did recently, I learned a lot of techniques from this book on that. So there you go. So guys, that is basically it for this update. I don't know when I'm going to do the next update, because obviously I don't know if I'm going to be here or elsewhere, or what my situation will be. Oh, one thing I nearly did forget. If you notice on this kit, there's no tow cable. Well, I've managed to get hold of one that's aftermarket. It's not specifically for this vehicle, but it's this one here. Eurocar Model Accessories. It's a towing cable set for a Tiger 1, really, but I thought, well, by the time I've actually got this on there, who's going to know? Not unless you're an absolute, what's the word? Rivet counter, as it were. So I thought, well, I'll add that, just add a little bit more added detail to the Leopard. So I'll just bring her over again so you can have a good old look at her. But as I say, very, very pleased at the way this is turning out. It is a superb little kit. Yes, it is around about 40 years old, and there's tack-ons, and many other manufacturers have brought out better versions. But if you're on a budget, this is the one to go for. It really is. It just basically falls together, and it does make an impressive looking vehicle in the end. So there you go. So anyway, that's it for now, guys. I'll probably be back with a further update on the Leopard as and when. So in the meantime, keep up those great builds out there. And this is a fantastic hobby. Keep up the good work. I'm watching all your videos as much as I can, learning from them. And I hope I'll be able to do a video for you very soon. So until the next time, get kit crazy, happy modelling, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye for now.